This next question goes first to Michael Diaz, and I will read it from the committee here. The sidewalks under the County Expressway and Metro Viaducts on Oak Park Road, Pulaski, Keeler, Coster, Milwaukee are a cesspool of pigeon poop, debris, and used syringes. Aggressive panhandlers and homeless people living on the embankments add to this problem. This is a public hazard for Cubs fans, commuters, school children, and pedestrians. No entity, public or private, claims responsibility for keeping these underpasses clean. As alderman, how would you solve this problem or address it in any case?
Well, if no one wants
60 seconds.
If no one wants to claim responsibility, I think the easy thing to do is to take responsibility, use some of that discretionary money that aldermen get, and invest it in those areas, clean them up. But one point that I think is important is that we need to get back to our beat officers. Policemen and women walking the beat. It's a small change, but I think it's one in an area congested, such as the one being described here, which make a great difference, especially at night. Because if you drive by at night, there's all kinds of folks hanging out under there, and if you're coming off the blue line, you don't exactly feel safe. So that's what I would propose.
John Dorito, 60 seconds.
The pigeon poop question.
Always trips up candidates.
Yeah, it does. So
that's why we ask it.
So I had previously stated, it was on my website, that I thought that I could get the community together to go and clean up pigeon poop, but I've learned my lesson there. That is just not the case. Can't do it, it's toxic. I wouldn't want anybody out there breathing that in. So I understand that it's a bigger problem than just going out there with power washers. But what I think that we do need to do is we need to identify who is responsible and not just say, okay, well, nobody wants to take responsibility, so we're going to use our infrastructure money that we could be used elsewhere to clean up their problem. We need to go out and find who's accountable and make them accountable. And as your alderman, I'm going to track them down. Got some investigative ability. I'm going to find them and I'm going to make them take care of it. And then we'll do what we can in the meantime.
John Dorito.
Viaducts is one thing that through participatory budgeting, the community said they wanted better lighting, they wanted those areas to be cleaned up. And so 2 years ago, that was one of the top vote getters in the participatory budgeting. We put high intensity lights under there that are highly efficient. We brought our resources in to clean up the areas. So that was the first step in order to make those caves into areas that people feel like are connectors between our communities as opposed to kind of walls between them. The ongoing maintenance issue is a challenge because you have IDOT, you have CTA, you have City of Chicago, CDOT entities there. Locally, we've done everything from getting the troops together and coming out and cleaning up areas. But we do need to find ways to get kind of a reoccurring budget to deal with those things. Those are some things that, whether it's menu money or whether it's through working with the Department of Family Services to deal with the homeless issues.
Michelle Barrett, the tricky viaduct question is to you.
Thank you. As I've talked to many people here in this area, that isn't the only viaduct that has challenges. Even the one right down here at the end of Costner, I've heard people complain about what transpires down there. And so for that, it is really finding out who is responsible. There are many different organizations that are not claiming responsibility, but somebody's got to be held accountable. And for that, I would make sure, going to each and every one to make sure something is done, to make sure to stand up for the people here and that it is safe and, passable. Whether it's lights and cleaning up. I know some of the things can be done, as I know John had pointed out, locally you don't want to do that, but you know what, sometimes just getting out there and just sweeping the streets can be a good start to start making a difference.